Just going over ESNQ and then probably some charts. But I mean, what I'm looking at here is just pretty clean rejection of my levels. 6130. I mean, we have this liquidity here. Major extensions are being hit, and it looks like a very clean rejection. Uh, this 35 area. I mean, especially on NQ, we rejected my price target for today at 965. I still do believe we're in an overall correction. I mean, this structure here is not very impulsive, but I mean, I did go long every day, so uh, definitely changing my bias though. If we get a close below like 116-ish, if we get a close below 116 or even just any rejection of this 130 level, especially on the 12 hour, I think it'll be good. If this 12 hour closes below like 116, then I'll definitely go short over the weekend. Probably take it to at least 60-60. Right. All I'm really looking at here is that every time we close below, right, the 60-60 level. So let me go to a clean chart. Right. So all I'm doing is pattern recognition, right? Um, every time we close below this 60 area, we've mostly come down 61, what was it? 6116? Yeah. 6116, we've mostly come down to um, at least 76, right? It happens here, happens here, right? Never close below. I mean, this happens, right? And then this is the only fail right here. So it's like 4 out of 5 probability. It's pretty good. I mean, if you consider this rejection, but the way you approach the level is very different. Uh, and if the way you approach the level is different, then you probably can't add it to the pattern recognition. But right, I mean, if this closes a hammer to the downside, it's a pretty high probability play. Right, this is the 12 hour, so you're going to have to hold for around 12 hours, right? So if you look at the 195, I mean, there's a lot more fake outs, right? Um, actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, there's like more fake outs here, but I think the current 12 hours pretty damning, but there's 3.5 hours left. This 185, I mean, closes in a minute. So if this 185 closes below here, then I mean, I think you can take a short to at least 102, but I definitely am no longer bullish, right? Because we hit my price target of 965. I can go a little bit over on how I got to this 965 price target. Like, so I'll post this for the video. So this is kind of my thesis, where if we close above 792, right, we'll just get to 873 and then 965. And you can kind of see here that we accomplished that pretty cleanly. Um, the reason I got that 792 level is one, because of this fib extension, right? All I did was take the extension from the base of this impulse, the foundation of this impulse, right? And then you can kind of see, um, and if I go on through the lower time frames, it's like so, right? From this low, this high, this low, and then you kind of get those levels. I never am trying to be exact, right? I always give myself like some room for error. Um, right? And that's kind of why I never use the magnet tool. But right, my levels like just give it like plus or 10, plus or minus 10, 15 points on NQ. Uh, but usually it's pretty exact. Right, so we get that trigger, we close above that 100% extension, and then we also close above all of this liquidity back here, right? If we look at this 792 level, so I'm gonna solve charts a bit. So now we're looking at 792, 21, 792, right? If we look over here, all the way to the left, I guess, 792. right? We can kind of see here that we at least come up to 865, right? Every time we close above. Um, right, so I'll mark that in green. Right, we close above 865 at least. Close above, we go higher, right? Oops. I got rid of it. 865. Right. Close above, come here, close above. I mean, we go way higher, right? Looking more to the right, right? We close above, go even higher, right? Close above, go even higher, right? Close above, go even higher, right? And then not only does the pattern recognition kind of hold true, right? We can see here that there is liquidity here at this 865 level, so it would be a pretty obvious price target, um, right? With the confluence here with this mini range, right? Drawing this extension again, we can kind of see here that this 127C lines up pretty closely with the liquidity from this tiny range that was developed here between January 23rd to January 24th. And so that's kind of how I got my price targets, right? So if NQ manages to close below 798 on this 12 hour, then I would probably go short, right? Because uh, if we look at it again, right, every time we've come down below this 798 level, we've kind of at least come down to 722, right, minimum. But I think you can probably get at least, uh, I'll do it in blue this time, at least whatever this level is, 654, right? Because we close below here, we come down to in the next 12 hour. We close below here, right? We come up from the highs, close below. We come down to at least 307, right? But we are guaranteed at least 621. And then you kind of see here just how important this area is as a kind of gate level for bears, right? Um, Pretty much every time we've closed below, three out of the four times, actually right, four out of the five times recently, um, we've had a massive rejection, right? Massive rejection. Um, Give me a second, right? And because of that, you can kind of expect the same reaction. I mean, my ultimate bias right now is that we are in a correction, right? Because I don't really see this as the base of an impulse. The structure is not very reminiscent of one. So pretty sure if we close below, I will probably just take a short. I mean, can you take this with options? You would really have to wait because we still have 3 hours left on this candle, so a lot could change. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on ESNNQ and how I arrived at my price targets. But uh, unfortunately, right, I didn't get that trigger on the 195. Sorry, let me mute that guy. Yeah, we didn't get the trigger on the 195. The 98 though, I mean the 98 does close below, right? Looking at the previous times we've closed below, we've at least come down to 738, which to me is not that great. Um, Not the great risk reward, but if you are willing to accept some risk, then entering here and then targeting 680-ish is probably your best bet. Um, but I mean, that's a pretty bad candle, and yes. I mean, we've had a lot of trades this week where not only was the entry good, but the close of the candle was also really good, right? So it allowed us to have like pretty much near max risk to reward, right? So when I see kind of candles like this, I mean, I don't really FOMO because I know that what happened this week, right? We've profited over, I think over like 800 points, and the moves are pretty clean. So I mean, I know this opportunity is going to happen again, so there's no real reason to jump the gun when I didn't get the trigger, right? I didn't get the condition to open my trade, right? I was looking for NQ to close below 798 on this 195. Didn't get it, right? We closed pretty much at support. Um, and the same on ES, right? My trigger I mentioned earlier was 6115. Didn't get that. So no real reason to enter my trade. because I know the opportunity will come again when not only is it high probability, but it's high risk to reward. And I think that opportunity will come in like 3 hours. I keep mentioning this 12-hour candle, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking for on ESNNQ, and that is how I arrived at my levels for this week, or at least for today. It is pretty clean. I think we it was pretty 1-to-1. Um, guess for the remainder of the time, I don't want it to be too long, right? Because I'm not really live trading, but gonna do some chart requests, right? So I was asked to do Netflix. Question was daily close of 985. Can it run? Um, sorry, excuse me. I've had this fan, like Netflix is kind of unique to me because I've had this fan on my chart since like 2023 when I was messing with fans. And it does kind of look pretty relevant, or maybe I'm just coping. I don't know, but it looks like it's pretty good to me. But if it is accurate, then I mean we have yet to break this 30%. Right? So this is like a 70-degree angle, I think. Or sorry, 30. What is that? So like a 60-degree angle, right? Um, so I think I'm just off this fan. I don't really think we should break. I mean, if I'm truly bearish on NQ, right? If my bias is bearish, then I don't think it should break either. But I do agree, right? If we get a close above 985, you can probably take it higher. Probably, right? So what is this? Hmm. Trying to draw an extension here. It's probably from here to here to here. Yeah, I mean this extension kind of matches with the level, right? 985-ish, 991. 981, it probably passes through this fan level. I mean, let's just ignore the fan, to be honest, because I don't use it anymore. Oops, that's the candlesticks. Yeah, so I mean, just offer all price action and off of this extension. Developed range is 965 to 984. Right, if you get a close below 955, I would definitely short this. Right, there's so much free structure here. Like so much free structure. There's a tiny level right in between this 932, 914 area, but 30 point. Actually, I haven't traded options in a while on Netflix, so I don't know if 20 points is a lot. But if we do manage to break through this small range, then it should easily come down 100 points, right, to 9 to 860-ish. But on the flip side, right, like if you're looking for a longer term, long-ish term play, right, like a 2, 3 week time frame, probably look for a weekly close above 981 and then take a long up to 1100 maybe. CG, and we did the lotto today, failed. It is what it is. Threw away $1,000, but it's okay. Um, long term, a little bit weird, right? Because I'm looking at this weekly. Haven't really seen this kind of pattern ever. So at least for me, right, I would just go even higher, right? Looking at the monthly, we are still bullish, right? Ideally, we close above 301 today. So we kind of maintain this range between 301 to 352. But I mean, short term. it definitely needs to fix its structure a bit. Um, but one thing I want to point out is that after every correction, typically stocks usually the the following impulse after a correction is much stronger and much steeper in degree, right? We can kind of see here, right? Mini correction, stronger degree, mini correction, relatively like strong, right? Um, right, but then we can kind of see here that it's kind of increasing. I mean, this is the same for SPY, right? Where after every correction, right, the degree in which we move is much steeper. I think I've mentioned this in one of my previous videos a long time ago when I was talking about GAN, but the theory is that after every correction, the market moves, the volatility in the market increases, which is a little bit scary. But I mean, all it is patterns, right? And the pattern kind of holds true. So it's just something to think about where after a correction, you can kind of expect expect a lot more volatility on the higher time frames, right? So what does that mean for CEG? Um, I mean, I'm still relatively bullish on it, like super bullish. I mean, this was our buy-in at 72. We bought in here. Um, looking at the higher time frames, right? We're just planning on holding these 618s. Pretty easy. Easy drawings here. Ideally, we hold above this 300 area, come up to 354 and retest, but that's about it. Uh, UPS, I mean, this is probably my worst performing long-term pick right now because I did buy in at 140, 140-ish, 150-ish. My average cost is about, let me check, 143. So down a bit here. But I mean, surely this company means something, right? If FedEx can hold this high, then surely UPS can as well. In terms of fundamentals, I mean, I know nothing about the company, so besides the fact that they deliver stuff, um, yeah, think we are good. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted for ESN and Q. Probably a pretty valuable lesson here. So let me start with the recording.